I feel, some people, now that we're doing this show live, some people are like, I miss you guys saying 3,
a 2, a 1.
We have to figure that out.
Do it again. Do it. No, just do it. All you have to do is do it.
Just do it. A 3,
a 2, a 1.
A 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Read This, Read That. I am Jackie Reid.
I'm Joanne Reid.
What's up, cousin?
I'm just here. I'm in Harlem, chilling in New York and just trying to live my life and stay warm and stay black and stay moisturized and ready to go.
Well, moisturize is important in these winter times, in this winter air. Yeah. What's the temperature there?
It's actually not as bad. It is. It's probably about 45-ish.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's not bad. It is 58, almost 60 here in Atlanta.
Girl, get off my phone. This live has ended. Y'all bye. Thank y'all for coming.
Which I'm loving, but also dreading, because I was saying the other day that, it was 70 degrees 2 days ago on Tuesday, almost 60 today, probably hit 60 today. We're not, people think that it doesn't get cold down here. It definitely does. Like, we were in the teens a few weeks ago. It gets cold here. I grew up here. We had winter coats, hats, and everything. But the winter does not, drag out like it does in New York. In New York, it could snow in May. You know what I mean? Definitely in April. But here, once you get into mid-February, it's going to be more days like this in the mid to upper 50s. We might have a cold snap, but we're turning the corner. But unfortunately for us, that means bugs, which I cannot stand.
Cannot.
If you go outside now, no mosquitoes, no ants. There's nothing bothering you as you go outside. But very soon it's going to be like, Lion Country Safari out there.
Well, I don't envy that, but I definitely envy the warmth because you're right. The only thing good about the winter is no insects. I'm terrified of bugs. So always happy about that. I spoke to my my godmother this morning in Jamaica, and she had me laughing. She said she saw 2 bugs. And she said she chased them down, but she kind of feels sorry for them and she killed them. But she's like you. She pities them. And I'm like, why are you pitying? But just kill them. What are you doing? And she's like,
I don't like them, but I don't want to kill them, because I think, as a vegan, I will say, I do feel like, listen, his eyes on the sparrow. God,
the bugs are watching me.
Listen, God looks after everything. And so they have their little lives. They're doing their own little thing. I feel like I don't want them up in my space. But if they're out building their little ant hills or doing a thing, let nature take care of them. There's birds out there that will eat mosquitoes and possums that will eat mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. Let nature take its course. We don't have to do that. But I agree with her. I don't like to kill them, but I don't want them. I don't like them.
Oh, she killed them because they were in the kitchen. So you got to kill them. They have to die.
Listen, I don't like MAGA people, but I don't want to kill them.
You just compared MAGA people to bugs. I just want to let
I like bugs better.
Set that out there.
That's an insult to the bugs.
It's true.
I'm sorry.
At least bugs don't know no better. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have no idea.
I can't. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time today. We're going to go for about an hour and a half. We want to cover a lot of stuff. But we want to do our wind downs as we typically do. What you drinking on?
Well, first of all, I'm just having some plain old boring iced tea because my wind down is that literally my diet has been reduced to almost nothing.
Why?
Because of these, I'm on week 6. I know I've been whining about this. It's been my wind down for 4 weeks. So I apologize.
It can't be your tea.
Let me tell you something. These Invisaligns, this Invisalign life ain't for the weak-hearted. It ain't for the weak-hearted, y'all. I thought Invisalign was going to be so easy. I thought it was going to be an easy way to get my little teeth straight. I'm like, I'm just going to use the last of my NBC insurance, go and get my insurance before my I had 1 year left of my insurance. And I said, let me just go ahead and use NBC insurance, go to the dentist, get me some Invisalign, get some straight teeth, as my fuck you gift from NBC. Baby, Invisalign ain't for the weak-hearted, y'all. The struggle is real. I see Confessor T. Tell him, she said she week 2. The struggle is real. Sis, I'm in week 6. This is week 6 of Invisalign, and I'm in Invisalign hell, friends.
What's the problem? You're still having the same pain?
It is, first of all, each week, and just letting you know, Professor, in there, they said this is gonna be you in 6. This is gonna be me in 6 months. Brittany says it's gonna be me in 6 months. Each week they get tighter, so they fit you when they go in. They go ahead and they give you an X-ray. So they have an X-ray of your teeth, and the Invisaligns are customized to you. So they give you a box when you go in for your appointment, and right. Each week is a slightly tighter version of the one you wore last week, and you switch them I switch them every Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So every week these joints are even tighter than they were before. And now it's done something where, like this one, it's not sitting super flush against my teeth. There's a little bit of a ridge, and that joint has irritated my inner gum. So now I have like a constant pain right here that's just away. Joy, this is gonna be 6 months, babe. Listen, I feel for everybody who grew up wearing braces. I had friends that had braces, and I was always curious about what that was like. I'm so sorry to everybody that I undersold your pain and suffering, because this joint, I don't even want to eat, because I have to take them out, as I said last week, in order to eat anything, and then go through the whole process of brushing and flossing to get them back in. But when you, first of all, taking the bottom ones out, because these are the ones I'm really trying to fix. So yeah, popping these bottom ones out hurts. Putting them back in hurts. And then when I take them out, my teeth hurt. So now I'm down to only soft foods and liquids, honey. I'm going to the smoothie store, getting me a smoothie, some nutriment, a meal replacement. Chewing hurts so bad.
So even when you take them out, you can't chew?
When you take out your Invisalign, you tell me in the chat if y'all have been through this. 8 months in, they said it gets easier. Said C Paramore 78. Thank you. I appreciate that. When I tell you my teeth hurt so bad that chewing anything hurts. And so look, you used to make fun of me for having my bean burritos. That's barely the only thing I can eat. I can eat soft eggs. I can eat my bean burrito, but even that's like tuna. It's just like every chew is painful, because when you take them out, your teeth are actually sore.
Is it supposed to be this sore? What does your dentist say? Or your orthodontist, or whoever prescribes these
just
things?
Like when you have a baby and they don't tell you nothing about how much it's gonna hurt. You know, they try to trick you into having kids. This is the way they trick you. They don't tell you, right? Not only is it gonna hurt like the devil to have a baby, but then it hurts afterwards, because you got to pass the afterbirth. That hurts even more. Then they don't tell you that you're gonna be in pain for 6 months, because breastfeeding, when that little baby latch on, like suction on, they have like the mouth of a junkyard dog. They don't realize it's just a baby and it's so small and cute. You don't think their mouth is like, and they come at you with that, and then they suckle on like, and you're just like, as they latch on, and that joint hurts for at least how long? First 4 months. Every time they latch on, you're like, and you're just like, and then they want more and more and more. Baby, when I tell you they don't like, I'm the one. If you all thinking about getting pregnant, call Auntie Joy, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell all the little young ladies, y'all, before you have a baby, just let you know you're gonna be in pain for 6 months. Just know you're gonna be in agony for 6 months. And this one right here, Invisalign hurts.
Now, how long do you have to wear it?
6 months.
Are you gonna make it?
I mean, I paid for them. I already, so look, you got a bill. I'm anti monthly bills. So baby, I done already paid for these joints. I was like, let me just pay for it all in one. I was like, I paid it in 2 payments. I was like, bump. I paid for it already. So I already am financially invested in these.
But are you gonna do it?
My teeth better be straight as hell. When this is over, I better look like George Michael in 1983. I better be like George Michael in 1983. I will be.
I want your sex.
I could get enough from. I am gonna love you. I better, babe.
Wait a minute though. But why don't you? Somebody said that they take the what's that stuff that you, when you have a toothache and you get that gel at the pharmacy that you put on. Somebody said they take something like that and it helps. Why don't you take Tylenol or something, some kind of painkiller?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do whatever.
I mean, but why don't you do it? What you waiting on?
And I broke a nail, so now my finger hurts too, and I keep jamming it every time I turn around. Jamming it.
You better take some drugs.
I'm in pain, y'all. I'm suffering. Somebody help me. Somebody help me.
You really are. Oragel, somebody said. That's what it is.
Oragel. Like a baby.
Why don't you get some Oragel?
I'm gonna have to get me some Oragel, y'all.
Girl, I would slather that stuff on all get a toothbrush and just with the Oragel.
Yeah, I'll try that. Oragel mouth rinse. Okay, I'm gonna get some Oragel. Thank you all for all of your support and pity. I'll take it. I love pity.
You scared us all straight from Childbirth and Invisalign.
Huh?
I guess we won't get Invisalign as a sponsor, huh?
And also, you should also sponsor us because my teeth are going to look amazing. Brought to you by Invisalign. Hurts like hell, but you're going to look like George Michael when it's done.
Girl. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I guess they ain't going to sponsor this shit. They're like, well, fuck that. That lady ain't promoting us at all. When it's over, I'll probably be really grateful. Just like I'm grateful for my kids. Having them, horrific. Nightmare. Very glad they're here.
He's 3 times.
The 3rd time, you know that one on purpose.
Oh, did you get an epidural?
Only the first one. The first one I got an epidural, so that tricked me into having the second one. Because you get the epidural and you think I can handle this because you were so drugged up that you don't really remember, and it hurts. But it's like, you know what? I'm on the epidural, so I was on that laughing gas. So I was just like, I was listening to jazz. I had the epidural. The second one came into the hospital. And they said, oh, you're not dilated enough. You need to go and walk to try to, get more dilated. So Jason and I decided to go to Publix. Shopping. Shop, went home, unpacked the groceries. That's when groceries wasn't $400 for a week worth of groceries. We used to spend $125, baby. I just did my grocery shopping. It's like $425 for a week. But let's a whole nother wind down. But yeah, we went and spent our little $125. Come back and they said, ooh, now you're too dilated. You can't get the gas. I was like, excuse me? They were like, yeah, too late to get the shot. You're going to have to do it natural. I was like, no, you're going to give me the shot. So I started arguing with them. Like, you're going to give me the shot because I'm not trying to do this natural. There was an African lady that was sharing my room because, at the time I wasn't a celebrity. So I didn't give me my own room. I was in the room with this African lady.
Right.
And this African lady was in there saying, I don't need no drugs. I'm going to have this child naturally. And she said, I'm like, first of all, shut the why are you singing? You're just making me nervous. I don't need no drugs. I don't need no drugs. And I'm like, what the hell? Then she started and I was like, she sounds like she's in a lot of pain. I want my drugs. They finally did the curtain so that I couldn't see her no more. All I heard was hollering next door. I said, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I had to have that kid with no Jamar. He had to come through with no drugs. And there was a white doctor. He had red hair and the whole rest of his body was red by the time I finished squeezing his arm to death. Poor Jason and him was trying to brace me. And I was literally about to commit red rum in that place. I had to have him natural. So, after that, I was like, yeah, we're not having no more kids. And then I got pregnant again.
And why didn't you have drugs on that one?
That one I did have drugs. I'm sorry. Only the second one I didn't, but I still had nightmares about it. Like I can bring myself back there. And it was the worst. I don't know how our ancestors were having kids in the field, having kids in a midwife, just
multiple.
My grandmother had 9. She did this 9 times. Like that lady was crazy.
My grandmother had 10.
Not only did my mother's mother have 9 pregnancies, but we're talking about 9 pregnancies. One of them was a set of twins that she delivered all of them at home. I'm like, these people were crazy.
Oh my God.
I'm like, inject me full of something. Give me some amphetamines, give me some cocaine, whatever it takes. And I keep telling these young girls, they think you're just gonna pop it out. And you're talking about hours of agony.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm gonna be honest, Auntie Joy, I'll be honest. I don't put no sugarcoating on marriage, childbirth, or Invisalign. You want the truth? Call me. I'll tell you how bad it all is.
Oh, we're gonna do a whole show on the truth. Pull the curtain on marriage, girl. Because we're gonna have to get on. That's a whole other episode. But let me remind everybody that our book club is up and running. If you all have not gotten the book yet, If I Ruled the World by Amy Du Bois Barnett. She was a guest on our show a few weeks ago to talk about the books. On Thursday, February 26th, we are going to have.
I apologize. I have to read this comment because I'm literally dying right now. I almost put my drink out. Confessor T said, my shop is closed and haunted. Amen, sister. Mine too. Listen, I said, no mas.
Our book club meeting.
Oh, yeah, and I got my book. I'm excited about it.
Good. April. I'm all the way in April. February 26th is on the Thursday. We're going to have Amy back, and it is going to be all about the book. There will be spoilers. So you guys get ready. Mark your calendars. I keep saying April. February 26th.
You love
at 3 o'clock. Huh?
I think you actually take pleasure in spoilers.
I do. I like to talk about what happened. What's the point in watching a television show or a movie or reading a book and not talking about it? What's the whole point? Yep, I love that movie, girl. Let me tell you, I love that movie so much. Mm-hmm. And then you don't talk about it.
I hear you. What's your wind down, cousin, sister, sore friend?
Girl, I am watching my phone like a hawk because your auntie Gail, my mother, she's so independent, child. She just had to go. She went to work out this morning. She goes to work out. What is on my lip? Every Tuesday and Thursday with a group of women in our neighborhood. They actually go up to Jamal Bryant's church.
Okay.
Because they have free workouts for seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And New Birth is packed up there. So they go up there and go every Tuesday and Thursday. And then she's taking a friend of hers who is in an assisted living facility.
Okay. Right.
Now, this man was homeless for a while, living out of a motel, retired educator, really plentiful pension and everything, but he was going through dementia.
Okay.
And so he's full on Alzheimer's now, but we finally got him into a place, and it's a very nice place.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother hasn't seen him in a year, and she's telling me she's going to go and meet up with him and take him out to lunch.
Okay.
And I say, being the daughter that I am, who's concerned about everything, well, mommy, before you go, when you get there, make sure you ask the people at the place how his mental health is at this moment, because you haven't seen him in a year. You're going to be responsible for him.
Right.
Right. He has Alzheimer's. You go to the bathroom at the restaurant, he could walk, you could lose him. Oh, Jackie, you worry too much. I said, well, where are you guys going? And she's going somewhere way out from where he lives. I said, well, he lives in this area where there's all these nice restaurants and everything. I said, why don't you go somewhere there? Because he likes this restaurant. Does he know he's going to this restaurant?
Right. He likes.
Does it different? Whether he goes to this restaurant or this one that y'all used to go to before his mental health started to fail him. This is where my mother, girl, you think I'm a handful. Don't tell me where to go. This is where I'm going. Okay. My mother calls me about 2 hours ago.
Oh, no.
And are you busy? Well, I'm getting ready to do this live. I'm just getting ready for it. I got a flat tire. I'm like, oh my God. And where his place is, where his facility.
Wait, has she gotten to him yet?
She's got him in the car.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, no worries, Mom. The facility where he is very close to the mechanic that we go to, coincidentally.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we left there already, and the tire, they told her at the facility that the tire was flat. I don't know what she was thinking, because she left and still went driving down the street away from the facility, even though they told her tire was flat. So now she's away from there, and she was like, okay. I'm like, well, let's call the place to see if they'll come and tow you. They don't tow. So then we're like, let's just do AAA, right? So we call AAA. So she calls me about an hour because I'm getting dressed and everything. My sister's on backup, and she calls me, what you doing? And I'm in the shower at this time. When I tell you my phone has been attached, I'm literally in the shower. So I'm like, yes. And she's like, well, we're still waiting here. AAA hasn't come. It's been an hour. Okay. Well, do you want me to call the facility and have them come and pick him up so you're not sitting there with someone with mental health issues? No, we're fine. I said, okay. So I'm waiting to hear back from my mother. I pray all is well. Girl, so if I have to answer the phone during this live, you'll
no, you would if you have to go during this live.
But I told her.
You did.
I told her.
You told her.
I don't even know why the tire is flat. We just got new tires on that car.
It's the elder parents are the worst. They don't listen.
They don't listen. I'm like, Mama, she could have eaten with him in the place where he lives. Or walked right across the street to a restaurant. Nope.
They don't listen. I'm telling you,
it's in the car.
These parents is very hard. They don't get raised right.
Girl. And I'm trying to tell her, don't leave them, Mommy. You can't. I'll be right back. I said, you can't do that.
No.
My mother doesn't believe in mental health issues. She just think people be just, she's just acting up.
He got Alzheimer's.
I'm like, no, Mother, he has mental health issues. He's always fussing about this and fussing about that.
Alzheimer's is not even mental health. Alzheimer's is an actual illness.
Girl.
It's an actual degenerative disease.
She doesn't claim any of it. She's been fussing about this man forever. When we realized when he was living out of this motel and needed to, she and another friend of his and hers, they were going to pick him up and take him out to eat and go get a new phone and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, y'all need to get him in a facility. He won't go. He doesn't want to go.
I think they're in denial.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Straight up in denial. But listen, it is what it is. I hope it turns out for the best. I'm waiting to hear. But meanwhile, for some reason, I'm still drinking non-alcoholic beverages.
I don't know. Is she going to drive you to actual alcoholic drink?
She is. So let me say for those, because Lent is coming up and people might be giving up alcohol. If you're looking for a non-alcoholic, I love my Prima Pave, but here's another one, y'all. I don't know how you say this.
Liars.
I think it's Italian.
Or liars or lires.
I don't know. I looked it up, but I can't find it. But y'all, when I tell you, this is the truth. And I love sparkling. This is so good. But they make a margarita one. It comes in bottles as well. Huh?
What flavor is it?
This is sparkling wine.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Classic.
Somebody said I want a Jam Week. Said I want to drink just listening. I'm with you. Parental, that you can't reform them. I talked to my godmother this morning. She's 90, she's 93. And I called her and she's in Jamaica and she have to switch out her toilet because, it's leaking. Mm-hmm. And so first of all, she's mad at the men because she don't want them to take her old leaky toilet away. She wants them to leave it and put the new one in, but don't take the other one just in case. I'm like, just in case what? It doesn't work. Let them take. No, they're trying to take my things. They're trying to take my things. But okay, but it's a non-working toilet. So why don't you let it go? I'll take my things. Okay. She don't, just like she don't let, they don't, you can't raise them. You
can't. And my mother is defiantly independent. Girl,
this 93-year-old lived by herself in Jamaica. I'm like, she won't know. She independent. She does her thing. And I try to tell her, because my mother's birthday would have been yesterday, February 11th. So I was like, my mom's birthday would have been yesterday. That's her best friend at NYU. And she said, yeah, and I said, she would have been 97. And she said, oh, I can't believe she's older than me. I thought you told me she was younger than me. I'm like, no, Auntie, I always told you she's older than me. Then she want to argue with me that I always told her that my mother was younger than her. But I was like, Auntie, I know she was born in 1929 and you were born in 1933. I always said she was older than you. We went a whole way until I finally just submitted and said, you're right. Like, there's no point. Like, why are you?
I have learned that just giving in and being like, you know what?
You're right.
You're right.
You're
right, Gail. You're right. You're right. Because arguing with her, it'll be to the death. To the death. Anyway,
let them win.
Speaking of parents, let's get into our stories for today, and we want to talk about this.
Somebody said you saying payback.
What?
Payback. They're calling it payback. But it's true because you
Oh,
raise
it's
them and
true.
then they start raising you. I already, you know,
Oh yeah, I was a handful when I was younger.
My little
This
older,
is
now
this
she
is
thinks my kids think they're raising me now. They act like I'm the one being raised. They already
they
started.
are they
I'm
are
not even
raising
that old
you.
yet.
It's true. Your kids are raising you. I
They're
talk to
raising
them.
me.
I know.
They think they're the parents.
You're difficult. You're a difficult parent to raise.
Oh, I'm be real difficult. Wait till I get old. Ooh.
You're already difficult now. I talk to your children. You are
I do talk
difficult
to 'em.
now for them.
Stop taking their side.
You know, those are my hearts.
You can't.
Let's talk about, speaking of mothers, let's
Please.
transition to some of the things we want to talk about today.
Yes.
And one that is heart, girl, I thought that was a tow truck coming up.
Uh-oh.
One that is heartbreaking is that Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy, is still missing. Girl, the amount of conspiracy theories.
I have one.
Let me hear it, because you know, let me just say this to y'all who don't know it. This one and I, we go round and round about facts. I try to tell her something and she will be like, I don't believe you. And she doesn't say those words, but she gets out that phone and Googles. 9 times out of 10, I'm right when I say something. But let me hear this conspiracy theory, because you are a conspiracy theorist.
I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but to be fair, a lot of conspiracy theories turned out to be true.
That is true, but you know, we as journalists, we're gonna live in facts.
Verify. You can't just put it out there. You have to trust but verify. Why?
All I'm saying.
Hold on a
so
second.
let me hear this.
Hold on.
Let me hear it.
Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to take Jason, I'm doing read this, read that. Can I call you back?
That's my cousin, her husband. Hey, Jason.
Oh, okay. I'll call you back. Jackie says hi. Bye. So, my conspiracy theory. I know people be calling me during the live. I told y'all, marriage.
That's a whole other show. That's a whole other show.
Okay, it's a whole other show. My conspiracy theory is inside job. And the reason that I think, and I don't have no evidence of this, and I don't know Savannah Guthrie personally. I don't. I truly don't.
Saying that.
I have no facts. I have no evidence. But I think that when you think about crimes are almost always committed by people you know. It's very rare that it's strangers. It's usually someone you know.
Right.
And Nancy Guthrie, the mom, is not famous herself, right? The famous person is Savannah. And so I think if I was in the FBI and I was not Cash Patel's FBI, the real FBI, before Cash Patel took it over.
That doesn't exist.
You're right. There's no more FBI anymore. But when there was real FBI, well, I would start with people who know the family and who might be trying to find a way to get money out of Savannah by taking her mom. But it would be someone who probably wouldn't hurt the mom, who the mom would go with. Because if you think about it, if there's a Ring camera video showing someone outside the door, which they've released and which Savannah has released, it's all very strange that you have the Ring camera of the person coming, but you don't have a Ring camera of her being taken. Where's that part of the Ring camera? Right. They're now asking for all the neighbors to get out their Ring camera also from the day before because they want to see if there was any suspicious people. Well, what suspicious people? As I said, my godmother is an older woman who lives on her own. She has helper that come around. She has workmen who come and work there. We know who's in that house with her. She's not just out there living wild, living free, running wild as an older senior citizen living by herself where none of us can see what's happening and where none of us know who's in her home. We need to know who's in that lady home because she is a senior citizen who's super independent and lives by herself. So everyone in the family knows who has access to that house. Mm-hmm. And mostly older people, they're not like us. They tend to be very savvy and smart about not giving themselves not letting just random people come in their house. They're not just going to let somebody come in. So somebody who came in there and she's willing to go with would have to be family or at least a close family friend. So I think you need to look in the circle. Who inside of Savannah Guthrie's world is broke? Well, and who Savannah Guthrie may not have given money to when they asked for it. I would start with that. Whoever that is, that may be inside and maybe Nancy knows who she will go with. I hope that means she's perfectly safe and fine because it's not logical to take this woman who's not even, if you didn't know that she's Savannah Guthrie's mom, the name Nancy Guthrie would mean nothing to you. There'd be no reason to go and kidnap this woman and hold her for ransom and then say, give us some cryptocurrency. That sounds like somebody who wants to be sneaky and get money from Savannah. And I rest my case.
I hear you. So your conspiracy theory is that it's someone close to the family or a family member or someone in their circle. I hear you. That's very possible. I think that, let me tell you this, being a public figure, myself, and having a parent who's a senior, they talk about you everywhere they go. They talk about you at the post office, at church, at when they're working out. Their friends are talking about you.
Fair.
Their friends end up telling their friends. They don't talk about my sister, right?
Right.
They want to know what's going on with me. What's going on with Jackie? How old is Jackie? What's Jackie up to? Jackie. And my mother, in turn, talks about me a lot. So there's that. You don't know who. So people know in that small town that they live in who her daughter is, right? And then when you go home to visit your mother, her mother to the grocery store, take me here, take me there. And Savannah, I have met her. I'm not friends with her, but I've been around her. She's very nice.
Yes, she is.
She's not someone who walks into a room like, I'm a star,
Right.
She's
She's very down to earth.
Very low key, very down to earth. I could see Savannah running errands with her mother, and her mother saying, "Oh, you look like Savannah." That happens, all the time. So the people know that that's her mother. I guarantee you. Yeah. Now the other thing is, even though I think that this FBI under Kash Patel is at the height of incompetence, right? There's also local police that are involved in this, and it seems like today, I can't imagine, because I was looking up her name. Remember Ashley Bansfield? I shouldn't say
Ashley Bansfield. Really like her. Good
journalist. I think she's an attorney. She covered a lot of legal things.
She was on court TV.
Came out a while ago when this first happened and reported that the brother-in-law, Savannah's sister's husband, let me get this right. I think she said he was a suspect, or they were looking at him as a person of interest, right? This was early on. And then, people like that hasn't really been reported widely. It seems like he has been cleared as a possible suspect. So I think that they did look. Savannah has a brother and a sister. You've seen the sister and the brother in the video. I can't imagine that they haven't been looking into those things. Yeah. But it seems like as of today, right, they put up a tent outside of her house. Yeah. Now, the craziness stuff is that she went missing. The family comes there. They look at the house. The investigators look in the house, and then they turn it back over to the family. This is a crime scene.
That's a crime scene. Why would they turn it back over?
What are you doing?
Infecting the crime scene. What are you doing?
But now the family is back there. But TMZ was reporting earlier today that, so we saw the video on the so-called Ring camera that they had to get people from Google to go deep into the archives to find this video. Now they found, based on the backpack that guy had on, there's another video, and they're covering this guy's face. TMZ played the video of a guy moving around somewhere near the house, and that maybe an hour before he was supposed to arrive, or he arrived at Savannah's mother's house. Now, they're not saying that this person is the same guy, because this guy's face is not covered. Right. But TMZ seems to be a kind of ahead of things, as they usually
they got the ransom note. That's the other thing. Whoever did this sent a copy of the ransom note to several media, including TMZ.
Some local stations. But here's my thing. At what point, I feel like, let me tell you what bothers me about all of this, because I can't call it. Like, to me, it could be anything. Somebody was talking about the fact that she lives so close to the Mexican border, and it's like right across there, they kidnap a lot of Americans. So it could be so many things. It could be so many things.
Oh, you heard the other, no, finish. I'm gonna tell you the other conspiracy.
No, what I was gonna say is, what bothers me is with the ransom notes and things like that, I feel like a lot of this information, unless it is going to help, like with video and things like that, should be kept quiet. I feel like a lot of stations and media outlets are out there trying to beat each other, that they put out information that could be harmful because the kidnappers or kidnapper is watching. Right. I think a lot of stuff you have to keep very private. And I hope that they're doing that, since these people are in touch with local media. Like, I don't think TMZ should be talking about the fact that they should get that ransom note or whatever, take it to the authorities and not say anything about it. But they were reporting that. We don't need to know that.
Well, here's the reason I disagree with that slightly. In this environment where Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are the FBI and the Justice Department, Justice Department and the FBI respectively, and I don't trust either one of them. And she's a celebrity who, by the way, is one of the first people to have interviewed the Epstein victims. So we don't know how Trump feels about her. Now, Caroline Levitt did read a statement supposedly wishing her well, wishing Savannah Guthrie well.
And Trump called her. And the president called her to, talk to her about. So they're saying, and Kash Patel was one of the first ones to tweet out the video from the home.
Right.
Like they seem
and they're putting it out. Yeah, they're putting
right. But I don't think anybody should put it out.
But he put it out. Again, but he put it out. So it's right. So it's like, because this is an entertainment regime, they're posting the video on Twitter, on Twitter. So it's like, this is your investigative method. Y'all are just treating this like it is for TMZ. So they're already breaking that. If that's the way investigators normally work, they try to withhold things that the public doesn't know so that the perp will make a mistake and information that they would, and you only put out information.
That's what I'm saying.
But Kash Patel is tweeting every damn thing. So
you're making my point. I'm saying they should not be putting things out there.
No, all I'm saying is I would say yes, TMZ shouldn't do it if Cash wasn't doing it. Because Cash, Mr. Cash Man is out there acting like this is an episode of a TV show instead of an
still have integrity. Don't put it out there. To me, if you
integrity don't go with this administration.
I know. I don't think that they should put it out there. I don't think, what Kash Patel put out, I do think was useful. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do think it was useful because it was showing the man at the door in the ski mask. And I do think that has to be, I think you need to say, does anyone recognize this face? But the ransom note, that part, I don't think that they should have released.
I also, again, say, if there's ring camera video of a man going in, where's the ring cam video of Nancy going out?
They didn't have that. I think he disabled the camera. You can see that.
He disabled it. Okay.
They disabled it. But what they were able to get was before he
coming in. Gotcha.
But they had to search for that.
Well, I feel bad. The thing I feel worse for the Guthrie family is that this gut bucket Timu FBI is who has to solve this crime. If we had a real FBI still, and if all the really good agents hadn't quit and resigned in horror and also or forced out because they participated in investigating Donald Trump for stealing classified documents or investigated January 6th insurrectionists, just know that's why we don't have a real FBI. Some of the top agents who investigated those two federal crimes, they were pushed out. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel don't want anyone working there if they had anything to do with investigating Trump, because, they're weaponizing the government for Trump. So when you have in authoritarian regimes, there really is no federal law enforcement. And sadly, that's where we are. Tom Homan got up yesterday and said with his full chest that ICE is not arresting people in hospitals, schools, and churches when there are literally lawsuits taking place against the federal government. We're doing all three.
All they do is lie. But I just hope that Savannah's mother I still hold out hope that they find
they got to get private eyes, get y'all
alive and well. Well, hopefully they have
hire private Savannah. Go get you some private investigators. They're probably going to be more effective than waiting for Cash and them.
I'm sure she's already done that. I would think that they're already hiring their own private investigators. She has the means to do that. She has friends who has the means to help her out with that. And she has relationships as a lawyer. You know what I mean? She has a lot of relationships in law enforcement. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that they find her. But I do want to say that what they're asking for now, you talk about ring cameras, they're asking for people, not just the day before she was taken, but a full month before. They're asking for neighbors and people in that area to turn over any possible video because they feel like maybe they can find someone who was surveilling the location. So, which really says, I think they're just kind of casting a wider net as far as who they're looking at. I don't really think they have a lot to go on, which is unfortunate because I think today is another deadline set by these. these kidnappers or someone who has information on the kidnappers is saying, give us money so you can, and the whole Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, because it's untraceable. That's why, and that's why they want Bitcoin. But the other thing I would say is that does bring me to my other topic I did want to talk about, Ring cameras. And remember the video, the commercial that was in the Super Bowl about
Should we
Ring cameras?
transition to talking about the Super Bowl?
Can we please? Because let me tell you something. These Ring cameras scare the crap out of me. The total surveillance society that people like Mr. Ellison, David Ellison, and his father, Larry Ellison, who bragged that we're going to be in a total surveillance society where every cop is under surveillance and every citizen is under surveillance. Ring cameras are a part of that. And you do know that Ring cameras, they can use that to surveil you, right? And the idea that even though, yes, it would be good if these Ring cameras can help find Savannah Guthrie's mom, I am very disturbed by the fact that we're becoming a society where your smart TV can turn around and watch you, where your phone is an instrument of surveillance, where TikTok, they've switched it so that they're grabbing all this personal information about your immigration status and maybe transmitting that to Pam Bondi and them and to Tom Homan and these other crooks that are running our government. We have a crooked government that's also surveilling us, and they're protecting.
But this has been happening. How many times have you been on your talking, right? And then you go on your phone, and let's say you were talking about pest control, and then an ad for pest control. Like we've known that this has been happening, right? This is nothing new.
No,
I think a lot of people with the Ring cameras, though, and I can't remember what it's called because they had this ad during the Super Bowl just to put a headline to it.
I'll tell you what's new, though. What's new is that the billionaires behind it have shown their hand, that it's not just about being able to sell you things when you say something and Google then produces an ad for it. They now are using that and turning that information over to ICE, turning that information over to the Department of Homeland Security. And they start with using it to find non-white immigrants. And also there's one Irish guy, by the way, who's been he's been like for 40 days, he's been detained, but to try to find immigrants that they want to get rid of and ethnically cleanse the country. When you start with that, the next thing is they just use it to anyone who's dissenting, anyone dissenting against the government, anyone speaking out against the government, like we're doing right now. They're going to turn that technology to try to stop anyone who's dissenting. So this is like a frightening where we're going, and they're getting people comfortable with it using things like, we can help find Nancy Guthrie, but they're going to start with that, and your dog, and then they're going to start with, oh, now we're surveilling like George Orwell, everything you do.
I just want to say to Navia 420 that I am vegan, and that a lot of people are talking about this Ring camera thing because at the Super Bowl, which was on Sunday, they had an ad which was all about, it was so lighthearted, and Ring camera can help you find your lost dog, and they were showing how we can show your dog walking through a neighborhood from house to house to house, and instead of it being a positive thing, right? There was all these people with so much concern on the internet about that, and it led into this conversation that you're having.
Yeah, and because I'm not pro Ring camera, because Ring camera is connected to an app that the government could access. Do you want, Stephen Miller being able to access what's in your Ring camera and look back from the Ring camera into your house? Absolutely not. These people are protecting pedophiles in the Epstein files, protecting billionaires who have billions of dollars of contracts, stealing our money out from under us, and God knows what they're doing with it. And Palantir is connecting all of these technologies deliberately, and they work with the CIA. And now I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this is just actually true.
Well, let me make this transition. Speaking of the Trump administration and all the things that they're doing and watching us, there are 2 Republican congressmen that want the FCC to look into the NFL and NBC and Bad Bunny for the halftime show. Because they're calling on the FCC to investigate, because what they're saying is during the halftime show that there were sexually explicit lyrics that were sung out. And there was sexualized choreography. Well, we all saw the choreography. I don't think that was any different than J-Lo and
Right.
Beyonce and so many people before that. Goes on and on and on. But there's one particular song that they are quoting the lyrics to, that they're saying listen to this, they're saying if he sang the lyrics to this song, then this was a violation. And the lyrics in this particular song are very racy. But what reportedly the NBC and the NFL did before that was say, what are you going to be singing? What are you going to be talking about? And so they vetted everything, and he did not sing the entire song. So there are credible reports out there saying he never said these words, but they're out there calling for the FCC to step in. And with the FCC, they're looking at how much Trump hates, Bad Bunny, and how much MAGA hates this performance. So we'll see how far this goes. Because the FCC chair is, just like they took Jimmy Kimmel off the air, they're going to do Trump's bidding. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And by the way, the guy who runs the FCC, Brendan Carr, is who wrote the part of Project 2025 about how to break the FCC and turn it into a tool for the government to control what's on television and what's broadcast over the air. So he wrote the part in Project 2025 that he is now implementing, because they're also attempting to investigate The View for being unfair to Republicans and Trump. So they're trying to make it, how CBS is turning into state TV. They want it all to be state TV. And if you do anything Trump personally doesn't like or say anything, we are at the stage now. Do y'all realize?
That's why they arrested Don Lemon. That's why they did. You know what I mean? In Georgia.
If Trump hates you, you can just get arrested, and they'll come up with the crime later. They're like, arrest you first, and we'll come up with a crime. We'll just come up with something because Trump hates you. I mean, this is the environment is so insane right now that the Gallup organization that has been registering presidential approval ratings for 88 years has decided it's not worth the heat. They're going to stop measuring presidential approval because Trump has low approval. And
before we get too down into Trump town, let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because we definitely want to talk about the halftime show. I know Trump drives you crazy, but let's talk about the Super Bowl. And how much did you love Bad Bunny's performance? Because I know you loved it so much. What did you love about it?
I had the best time. I watched it 3 times. Was late to the game when them poor little Patriots finally scored a Super Bowl. I had to rewind it because I missed it. I met poor little things. But it was excellent. I thought the choreography was fabulous. The staging with the humans in the grass, the way that he showed you, he took you to Puerto Rico, right? He took you to San Juan with the light poles, because lights go out a lot there. There were all these little Easter eggs, and I kept trying to find everything I missed. There was a woman braiding hair. There was the people drinking coquito. There was nods to the food, nods to the music, nods to the culture. And then the celebrities that popped up. We're talking about Cardi B. You saw for a hot minute. You're like, oh, that's Cardi B. The what's the actor's name? This is all over TV. And then Ricky Martin.
Who, Jessica Alba? No. You're talking about the guy from
The Last of Us. The guy from The Last of Us who's hitting so hard in Hollywood.
I can't remember his name.
Ricky Martin showed up. I
screamed when I saw Ricky Martin.
Screamed that I screamed. And that is,
Is it Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal, yeah. And then whatchamacallit, because Ricky Martin was in Menudo as a kid, and he is literally Benito, Bad Bunny's inspiration, and the emotional sort of reunion. When Ricky Martin showed up, I screamed, girl. I screamed. It was excellent. I danced my little ass off. I was so sweaty when it was done. Me and the daughter, we were just getting our groove on, trying to salsa merengue and do everything. We're trying to do all the moves. It was great. And I listened to Bad Bunny the whole 2 days before, trying to memorize some of the songs. So I didn't do so well with memorizing everything. My Spanish is like a grade C. I can speak okay Spanish. I can eat, if I needed to. But it was so much fun. You don't need to understand the lyrics to love it. I enjoyed it. What about you?
It kind of reminded me, and let me tell you, I didn't even know until days before the game who was actually playing. All I wanted to see was Bad Bunny. I had no interest in the game whatsoever. So I had the game on, and when it was time for halftime, which came a little bit early, it felt like, but I guess one team was playing the other, and they were just scoring and scoring and scoring. So halftime,
the Patriots were getting beat up so bad they weren't scoring, and the other team was just kicking field goals. I mean, the Seattle was kicking field goal after field goal after field goal. It's like, let's get this over with.
Girl, I didn't see any of it. So when the halftime show came, I was so happy. I went and sat in my little seat, had my little popcorn ready, and I loved it. It reminded me of the movie and the play, I should say, The Heights, right? That celebratory Latin culture where so many things are moving and happening. It just goes from one scene to the other, like the way the camera was
dark-skinned Latinos included. Sorry.
Yeah, it was so, I thought it was so well done. And I just feel, you know, I can't say I'm upset with the people who hated it just because, you know, Jill Zarin, formerly of the Real Housewives of New York, was very, you know, she came out and made some comments about there being no white people and it shouldn't have been in all Spanish. And I'm paraphrasing all that she said.
Green Day is white. They opened the whole thing.
I know, but she ended up getting fired from a Bravo reunion event because of her comments. She put it up and her daughter told her not to. And then she took it down and she, you know, she went on this whole, well, I don't understand. And she didn't say I don't understand, but she was upset that she got canceled basically because she said, I took it down and everybody makes mistakes. But she went on a rant, so much so that they fired her. Like, I don't get why people did not love it. It was such, like, I was in tears at the very end, just moved so emotionally because I was so happy for their culture, which is part of American culture, because this is what America should be about, you know, celebrating the diversity that makes up this country. And so why can't that be a part of what the Super Bowl is?
Right.
I mean, I love it so much.
The Super Bowl is broadcast in 130 countries and in about 39 languages.
Yeah.
It is not just an American event. It's a global event. And this young man, this 31-year-old man, happens to be the biggest global superstar on earth right now. This is the equivalent of booking Michael Jackson at his peak. That is how big Bad Bunny is. I think a lot of Americans, because we are living this English language, you know, we're in a closed, xenophobic environment. We're not aware of like the world. When I tell you this man is the biggest global superstar on this planet right now.
Yes.
So booking him was brilliant because it caused 135 million people to watch. Just like booking Kendrick Lamar was brilliant because Kendrick Lamar had 133 million people watching. And that is because you booked a global superstar. So when you play this in Paraguay, you play it in Argentina, when the Super Bowl plays all over in those countries, and Latin America happens to be one of the most, one of the areas where American football is the most popular to watch.
Yeah. They have a big Latin population who watches in the audience. But yeah, I just did not understand the outrage. But then I do, you know, MAGA is MAGA gone MAGA.
And you know why they're also mad? Because their little Kid Rock show was so sad. Oh, honey, they tried to have their own. They said we're gonna have our own because you know they're into segregation now, segregation forever. So they did a little segregated one.
It was so. I mean, how many times? I can't.
They're like,
I mean, but can we talk about Coco Jones? Can we talk about Coco Jones singing the Black National Anthem?
My tractor. I want to ride my tractor through the fields of America because I love it so much. That was their halftime show.
Can we talk about Coco Jones and the beautiful job she did with the Black National Anthem, and that her outfit was a nod to Whitney.
Gorgeous.
That she had made, I think, by Carl Kanai.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, the outfit was gorgeous. She was amazing. It was so perfect. Like the entire lineup was just perfect. I think the NFL, you know, I hate to give them credit because
give Jay-Z Rock Nation who booked it. And I thought everybody was good. Brandy Carlisle, I thought did a beautiful version of America the Beautiful. I like Brandy's voice. I think she did an excellent job with that little twang.
They had the lesbian representation, which was nice.
The lesbians was out in here. Come on, the L's and the LGBTQ was there. And then the guy who sang the national anthem, who I didn't know who he was, but he had a beautiful voice. Everybody was represented. If people were concerned, there were plenty of white people, y'all. Green Day is very white. And they started, and they censored them because they have an FU bomb in their song and they didn't sing it. So people were mad at them that they didn't sing the FU part. But that's like they're on broadcast TV, so they were smart. They didn't sing it, but they were there, and that was very Gen X moment. Watching Green Day sing "American Idiot" and all that, they were just mad because it wasn't about them. And you know what, MAGA? Not everything has to be about you. Okay, get over it. Grow up. Ride your
But I
track.
will say this about the Lady Gaga moment. It was definitely in your face moment, because Lady Gaga, if you translate what I was reading, if you translate what Bad Bunny was singing right before the camera went to Lady Gaga, it was like he was saying in Spanish, this is what you wanted. Is this what you want? This is what you wanted. And then they go to Lady Gaga, a white woman, singing in English. And so that was kind of like a, in
like
your
an
face
FU.
critics. It's like,
And
this is what you wanted, and here it is. And her dress, the blue that she wore was the blue that's in the original Puerto Rican flag that they made them change to navy.
Yeah.
That's how she wore the dress. And so that was the whole reason, because you think about, okay, it could be so many people that are there as part of this performance. Why wasn't it someone Latin? That's why he chose Lady Gaga. That's why he chose a white woman, according to what I read. I mean, I didn't hear that from him.
Oh, if that was it, then yes, that is Petty Davis. I'm Petty Davis too. I love it. I love it. And Gaga was flawless. I thought her performance was gorgeous, beautiful. And y'all realize that their original light blue flag used to be illegal for them to fly it.
Yes, that's why they were forced to change it to the navy. Yeah. They were forced to change that blue. And so he had that flag when he was on the field. He had their original flag, but that's why she wore that shade blue.
Makes sense. I love that. And I love the nods to Whitney, to the flag. The other part that I absolutely loved was when he at the end started shouting out all the nations in Latin America. So he just named them all. He actually also named Jamaica. He threw Jamaica in there, but he named all these countries in the Americas, because when people say God bless America, people forget that this country is the United States of America, but Americas actually means the entirety of the continent. It means both continents, and North America and South America are all considered the Americas. So he named from Canada all the way down to Peru, baby, and they were mad about it. But
they were so upset because they want to be centered in everything. They want their culture to be celebrated more than anybody else, but they don't have any culture.
I want to ride my tractor through the fields of America. That's what their thing was. Is anybody still here?
What are you looking at? I don't want us to run. I don't want us to run.
Kid Rock singing out. You didn't talk about Kid Rock. His lip sync.
Why should we give them any time? It was what it was.
His lip sync was off though. He was like, "I'm Kid Rock."
I know the lip sync was off.
Kid Rock.
Girl, we don't have to talk about them. I'd rather talk about Glorilla and her family and her sister, who is out here. Y'all tell us in the chat what y'all think about that story, because her sister is out here causing problems. Okay, so I know you don't get caught up in the name because you hate the name Glorilla. Let's not go there. So apparently Glorilla, whose name is Gloria, let's call her Gloria. So
I like the name Gloria.
Let's go back, but let's not go down that road yet. Hold on to that. Hold on. I know. Hold on, Auntie. So Glorilla is one of, I think, 10 siblings, and one of her sisters is going all over
10 kids,
going all over social media and talking about how Glorilla is not helping the family or her, and that they live in roach infested conditions. They don't have this and they don't have that, and it has become a mess. So much so that Gloria, or Glow, because I know you're going to get caught up in that, made a statement. She said that her parents have nothing to complain about, that her parents, like, she bought her father, I think, a really nice car, but she has 10 siblings. And I think the thing that the commentary that's been taking place in the debate online has been whether or not, when you make it, right, when you're that rich sibling, should you, or rich family member, should you be taking care of everybody else? Do you owe it to them? And I think beyond your parents, and I think even with that, depending on, like, because some parents that we've seen will take advantage of their children and their money, right? We saw it happen with Britney Spears and her father, right? And what happened with that, allegedly. But
the guy used to play Arnold. What you talking about, Willis? Remember, his parents robbed him blind.
Gary Coleman.
Yeah, his parents just did everything.
Well, it can happen. So I think you have to be careful with what you give your family, what you give them access to. But this sister, now she's out here doing interviews on podcasts. I think she got paid for doing some kind of collaboration with somebody on social media. It's just, I feel bad for her. I feel like, girl, cut them off. Cut them off. I say cut them off. Don't have anything.
Somebody in the chat said G's family let her cook. Tip away. I mean, look, the reality is it depends on your relationship with your family. You know what I mean? Like, I think about that interview that Tina Turner did about how her mother never loved her. Her mother didn't love her at all and was very openly not loving her. And then she finally makes it big, and the mother had all these expectations, and she met them. She always thought, if I just keep buying my mom things, she'll love me. And she never did. And it's like, if you have a relationship with you, like if my mother was still living, my late wonderful mother, if she was still living, she'd probably living in my house, and I'd be buying her everything she wanted and taking good, because I absolutely adored my mother. We were very close, right. And my siblings were very close, so if my sister or brother needs something, I'm always going to be here for them. And I feel it's an obligation personally to the family I'm close to try to help as much as I can. But like, Gloria, she's not like she's old money. It's not like she has generational wealth. People don't even understand. People think that people have more money than they do. Usually, right? When I used to be on the radio, I can be open and honest and say Radio One was paying me $60,000 a year, and I was the morning show host and the co-anchor. So I was getting up at butt crack in the morning, driving in, producing the radio show and co-hosting the show. And I was getting $60,000 a year, but I was also like local famous. So they see me and they think, oh, you must be rich. So people start thinking, oh, you can help. No, I can't. Not on that kind of money. You think it's a lot. And so I think people think, when I found out what local news anchors make, I was shocked. I thought it was a lot more. So all these news anchors are running around famous. People know their name. They're in the grocery store. People can stop them. When I found out how much money, I was like, that's not even money. I was like, I don't know that I want to do that. So it's all relative. And so I think, and also like we used to do this, I think I've talked about on this podcast. We used to do this music video show. We used to do video dub plate. When we found out how broke some of these singers were, they were famous. They had hits. They had #1 hits, and they were rolling up to our house in a Hyundai. And I'm like, that's your car? We have more money than them. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, so you're just assuming Glorilla. We don't know how much money she has. She might have a lot, but she also doesn't have, even if it's a lot, it's not generational wealth. When you sign $100 million deal and you're an athlete, you can argue that you have some obligation, at least to your mom and dad, if they were good to you, But when you sign a record deal, I have no idea what that means for your actual money. And so people shouldn't be assuming she can now carry a family of 10 by herself and put that all on her shoulders. That just isn't fair.
No, it doesn't matter to me how much money she makes, right? I don't care if she's a billionaire. That's her money, right? She earned it. And it's not there. I don't, she can be as generous as she wants, but we also don't know the relationships. Like to your point, you also don't know relationships, and you have to be, as you elevate, you can't take everybody with you. Some people will mess your shit up, right? By being in proximity, and you give money. The sister got a check for something, allegedly, and people were criticizing her because she went out and bought some blinged out necklace. Now, okay, you broke, but now you're all over the internet showing this necklace. I don't know if that was true or not, but that's what I saw people were criticizing her for that. And if you watch her sister, I'm just going to say, she don't seem like she got it all there. Like she seems like she has some mental health issues. I'm just going to say it. I have people in my family with mental health issues. I have been around those people. She seems like she has mental health issues. Not everybody who has that are getting the care that they need, right? Because a lot of family members aren't going to say, some people just, oh, that's just how such and such acts.
Right.
He seems like somebody who is special needs to me.
We don't know.
Does.
But I'm just going to say, I believe it was MC Hammer that almost damn near went broke trying to take care of all his boys and all his
17
family.
people he had on his payroll. Right. When all the dancers and everything, he was paying for everything. And he did go broke because of that, because he talked about it. And so I think Black people and celebrities can be so generous, right? And you want people around you to be in some cases, but having people around you, sometimes you can attract the wrong people. So you have to be careful with who you have in your circle and who you give money to.
Yeah. And you can't take care of it. And at the end of the day, there are white people walking around here who inherited wealth from enslavement that is so vast that we can't even comprehend it. Or they have 1,000 acres of land that they stole from indigenous people and enslaved our people on. So they aren't thinking twice about money. When I see a Black person make it, to me, that is like you're on step 1 of a long staircase. And until you get to like step 5, where you're like a couple generations in, you can't just assume this person has the capability to carry a whole village. And so the reality is we need to be realistic about the expectations in a family. And each of us, it is a personal decision based on your relationships and your capability. It's the same way that I feel about advocacy and activism. You have to do what's in your comfort zone and your capability. And it's the same way I feel about money. If you have enough money and you feel comfortable buying your mama a house and the mama treated you good. Now, what I don't like to see is somebody who makes $100 million contract and their mama living in a trailer park if the mama was good to them. If the mom was good to you, you should buy her mama a house. I would have bought my mama a house, No,
so. I mean, but your mother doesn't have to, to me, here's the thing I will say to the other side, to the people who have the family members that make it or friends that make it. They don't owe you anything. That is their success. Now, a parent that's been good and I raised you and I fed you and I taught you yes, I think that there is, and that comes down to character, right? You don't have to do it, but you should.
That's right.
But people, I think on the other end who have their hands out, those are the people that need to realize, back the fuck up. That is not your money. That is their success. And you need to stop chasing after them, asking for things that you could get on your own. Mm-hmm. Those siblings that are expecting for her to pay their way, why aren't you working? What are you doing to make a living? And I can say they don't owe you anything. Stop asking. That's their success. Be happy for them. Be proud of them. Support them in the best way. Just like Oprah Winfrey. Remember, she had that sister that she didn't know about and met her later in life. And Oprah was in tears because she said, this woman, even after I met her and I knew about her, she says she never asked me for anything. Mm-hmm. Never. And that is the way you have to roll. They don't owe you anything just because somebody may. Now, if they do it, it's kind. But they don't go out. Everybody doesn't have to have a fancy car. Everybody doesn't have to have a big house, right? Deal with your plot of land. Deal with your land. Do your best. Be happy for them. Celebrate them. But that's not your life. That's not your money, and you are not entitled to any of it. Stop asking. The expectation of people that feel like, well, she got all that money, she can give me something. That's a sick mentality. And it is so wrong. But there are a lot of people that are around people who make it, who think like that. And if you're soft-hearted and a nice person, then you end up giving money. No. Unless you are in trouble and really, really need something, then people should not be giving money out to people just because. You just
and by the way, this happens to lottery winners, and most lottery winners do end up broke because they start giving all the money away and they end up giving it to everyone and end up broke. The person I would say is the perfect kind of emblematic of what you're saying is Charlie Murphy. I think Charlie Murphy, the late, great Charlie Murphy, was probably the best brother Eddie Murphy could have possibly had, because he sees his little brother become this super mega superstar. And all he ever was supportive, protective. Not only was he supportive, he's like, I'm gonna be his body man. I'll work for my younger brother. He's like, and he never demanded the spotlight. And then when he started getting the spotlight through Dave Chappelle, he accepted it. He was hilarious. He had his own, but he developed his own persona and his own career and his own path that was obviously based on being Eddie Murphy's brother, but he had his own persona. And I think that kind of brotherly relationship is so beautiful to see. They could both make it and both be successful. On the other end of the scale, I used to watch the Braxtons. And I always was concerned about that relationship being exploited by producers because they were trying to pit the Braxtons against Tony. And
you're talking about the reality show, not the actual sisters.
Right. Themselves. The way that reality show was set up is that they were constantly comparing the other Braxtons. Remember, they were a group when they first started, and Tony was the breakout star. And there was always this question of, did the sisters feel some kind of way about Tony. And it's like, I didn't like the way that show was set up to create this kind of dynamic. What should Tony be doing for and about her sisters?
Yeah, but that was reality TV trying to make, once I used to love the Braxton's reality show until they started fighting.
And then we get them physically fighting.
But it was to me for, I did a reality show back in the day, and the producers try to push you into scenarios that are going to make great TV.
Exactly.
And I feel like with the Braxtons, how it started out, because they're so talented, and it being about their vocals and about their sisterhood was enough. They didn't have to do all that bickering. And that's when I stopped watching. But I can say that their sisterhood beyond, before the cameras, it was never about that. Right. Tony was always looking out for her sisters. And they worked for her. They were her background singers, but they were fine with what they had. And right? They also were not coming to Tony for a handout, right? Listen.
I hated that. And like, because Aretha Franklin.
But it wasn't their reality. I just want to be clear. That wasn't their reality. That was the TV show. But those sisters supported each other, and they were not they were not trying to take Tony's money, and they didn't have this level of expectation. She's the oldest sister, and they respected her as such. But their parents, their mother was still involved in everything. Yeah. And her, I think she raised a great group of young ladies. I think they have a brother too, but I think she did a great job as a mom. But yeah, I think that was reality show writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we all agree that if your sibling makes it, tell the Lord, thank you, praise them, love them, support them. But don't be begging them.
Don't
and
don't be expecting anything.
And whatever you get is their blessed. They want to bless you. You should bless. If you feel it, you should do it.
Say thank you and keep it moving. That's it. Come on,
you make your own hip hop song, sister of Glorilla.
Girl,
I'm gonna need her to change that name.
Girl, leave that baby alone. She'll learn one day. She'll learn one day. Joanne hates the name Glorilla because it sounds like gorilla. She goes off on a tangent every time.
Every time, because I like her music. I'm a fan of her as a hip hop artist, but I'm gonna need her to just be something else.
Just call her Glow. Just call her Glow.
I'm gonna call her Glow.
Maybe she'll change it, like Lady Antebellum changed their name. One of my favorites.
Or like Little Bow Wow just became Bow Wow.
Yeah, maybe she'll change it.
Wants to know, have you heard from your mom yet?
Yes, I did. She actually sent me a text. Mom said, let me see. I read it. She said there was a lady that came to pick up her and her friend. Okay. And now she still has him with her. I don't know where the mechanic's place and his assisted living home is within walking distance.
Why she dropped
him off over there, I don't know. But she says she and her friend are at the mechanic, and they're fixing it now. She said, I'm okay. Girl, she'll probably get it fixed and still take him out to lunch.
And they're gonna be out at dinner, and then she gonna get up and go to the bathroom, and he gonna be in the world.
Girl, I can't. I'm like, Mama,
don't make him end up like Nancy gone. We don't know where he at.
One other thing I want to mention, because I don't know if you've heard, I love telling you things because you be so focused on politics. There's a lot of pop culture stuff that you will miss. And I love when this happens because I love your reaction. I don't know if you know about this, but I think you're going to be excited about it. And that is there's some more bubbling that Serena could be coming back to tennis.
Oh.
I know, right?
Is that why she's slimming down and doing the commercials and stuff so she can come back?
No. She's doing that. She's about to be a part of a docuseries show with herself and a bunch of other female entrepreneurs and business owners. I cannot wait for it because I love this group. I don't know I think it might be on Amazon though, but listen. So when she was on the Today Show, interestingly enough, with Savannah Guthrie some weeks ago, it was in January, Savannah asked her because she put herself into this thing where you have to get tested and do some kind of series of tests, and the results, you have to like take this testing, like let's see, eight weeks before you go back into tennis, and the 8 weeks are up like next week. The time is up, and so there's all this speculation and when Savannah asked her, she did not say no.
Ooh.
She did not say no. So there's speculation that she could be coming back to tennis. So that will be interesting to see.
I don't know that I love that. I
Why
wouldn't
not?
mess with
Why
my
not?
record because I feel like once you retire and there are all these young bucks out there, let them cook, let them have their moment. Because if you come back and lose, that's going to be painful for you and for your fans.
But I think she's a big girl. I think if she comes out and lose, then let her learn that lesson. But if she comes out and wins, you know what I mean? If
It'd be
she
like
can
when
come
Ali
back,
came back. Yeah, it'd be like Muhammad Ali. I wouldn't do it. But me personally, I'd be like, I rest on my laurels. Got my
yeah.
laurels resting on them. Moving on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get
me.
that. I'm excited for her though, because I want as many Black women in tennis as possible.
There are it's like all Black women now.
Venus is still playing, so she can get her health benefits. She admitted that. She was like, I'm out here for the health benefits. So who knows what the reasons are, because she's married to a billionaire, so she don't have to do it. Serena, that is, but she could be coming back. It'll be interesting because she was not winning as much when she retired.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Don't go out on I wouldn't mess with my record personally. Coco Jones is out there. Let the young girls have it.
Let the babies have it.
Let the babies have it.
Well, we'll see what happens. We will keep it watching. Well, we'll keep watching it, in other words. Okay. So
before we go, we have a request to talk about the SAVE Act. Would you like to, we should probably mention that to all our folks. We didn't do a SU Need to Know, but it is some shit you need to know.
Yes, we actually skipped over that because we were like, we only had an hour today. We didn't have the normal 2 hours. But yeah, talk about it.
The SAVE Act has passed the House. And so the bottom line of what you need to know is it's terrible. And you don't want it to pass the Senate. It will make it harder for people to vote. You will have to show proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. And in order to do that, you need to have access to your birth certificate. And your birth certificate has to match your voter registration. And if they don't match, you're in trouble. That would mean women who married, anybody trans that changed their gender and their name. It will make it very hard. You're going to have to jump through a lot of hoops in order to vote if you've done any kind of name change or if your birth name doesn't match. Some people, I don't know how JD Vance is going to vote. He's been John Donald, John Dames, Home. He has 4 different names. I don't know how he's supposed to vote under this. But you have to match. He's going to change his name. His name is even JD Vance. So it's like, I don't know how that's going to happen. So it's going to make it very difficult, especially married women who've changed their name because they took their husband's name. And there's also stuff I think they've put in there to try to make it so that if you vote and they find that it's an illegal vote, they will then remove your vote from the rolls because they want to go back and try to falsely prove that illegal immigrants are voting in our elections, which is just not true. But they're so obsessed with this idea and they want to go back and try to prove that Donald Trump has never lost an election. It's a lot about his stupid ego. They want to he has this false belief that 3 million people voted for Hillary Clinton who are illegal immigrants. It's just not true. And so they've been trying to prove this fake voter fraud thing forever. And now they're going to use this law and it will require voter ID. So, and the last piece I'll add to it is if you live in a state where voter ID costs you $25 or $50, you don't have it, you're just going to be out of luck because the voter ID is not going to be free. So you're going to have to find time to go into the DMV. Some places DMV close at 4:00. So if you can't get an ID, you're just going to be out of luck. Can't vote.
And then add to that the possibility of ICE or other federal law enforcement agents outside of voting places, as Donald Trump is talking about. And, he does just like he was talking about Greenland before he tried to make that a reality. He's not just talking just to talk. It's in his mind. He says the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. And Bannon said they're going to do it. And the last piece I will add too is they are absolutely going to do is the other thing that this would do end motor voter, which is the law that made it easier to register to vote. They want to get rid of that. They think motor voter is just fraud. They want to reduce or restrict access to absentee balloting to force people to vote in person on a piece of paper. They want you to vote like it's 1913 and walk in and fill out a little form. They don't believe that you should be able to absentee vote. And they're going to make it so it's impossible and actually illegal for groups like League of Women Voters and others who help people register to vote and collect voter registrations and turn them in. They want to get rid of that. They want to get rid of online voter registration to force you to go into a DMV, to go in person, and all of these kind of things. It is a poll tax. It's attempting to make the hoops so high that only essentially men can vote. They don't want women to vote. And this is their
White
lowest
men,
rank.
white men.
Basically, they just want white men to
It's
vote.
just white
and they
men
want
to make all decisions. They just
Basically.
want everybody else to stay home.
And they're
they'd
not
be so
saying it's
happy.
illegal to vote if you're not a white man. They're just going to make it so hard by thinking about the ways that non-white men, people who are not white men, vote, and then making those super hard. So they're like, we're not saying only white men should vote. We're just going to take all the ways that people who are not white men vote and make those incredibly difficult, especially women, and just put it out of your reach, and then say, oh no, we didn't say it's illegal for you to vote. We're just going to make it super hard. So that's
I love what Caramel Candy 60 said. No matter what is happening now, in the end, love will win. God got this, y'all. Don't get discouraged. Keep pushing. You don't give up the fight. I mean, girl, I'm trying so hard not to get discouraged, particularly because, I complain all the time about the lack of effective leadership within the Democratic Party, with we're going to show up and, Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, so many of them. There are some good ones that are out there speaking out, but, far too many, overwhelmingly, are not doing what they need to do to answer to what Donald Trump and MAGA is serving. We need better elected officials. We need them to do their jobs. I'm so irritated by them. I can't even see straight.
Well, I will say that I've been very impressed by the Democrats on the Homeland Security, House Homeland Security, and judiciary committees who served Pam Bondi her ass on judiciary the other day.
But what difference does that make if they're going to go and vote to keep the government from shutting down when things were in their favor, right? And they didn't have to do that. And so they show up, on TV, and they're loud and, okay, they handed it to Pam Bondi, and I was happy about that. But the thing that frustrates me, it's like, what's his name, who had the Cory Booker, right?
You be staying on Cory Booker.
I do, and he's a fellow vegan. I want to love him, but my thing is, I just get frustrated. You want to have a filibuster and do all that, but then, okay, are you taking all this AIPAC money? Like, how are you voting? It's just like the way that they're voting and the way that they're moving and the things that they're doing. I'm all for a moment on TV, right? Okay, but what are y'all doing? Where's Project 2028? What's the plan, right? We're heading into midterms. What is the plan? Okay, y'all done showed Pam Bondi her ass. Okay, good. Y'all had some moments. Okay, great. What are y'all doing that's going to make a difference? Well, because who's watching that, aside from getting on TV because Pam Bondi was so combative, and okay, they made a lot of people lean into what's going on with the Epstein files, and that's important, and I'm glad about that. But meanwhile, the SAVE Act and all this stuff, like, what are y'all doing to make sure that you win, to make sure that something's going to happen beyond that? I'm glad they had the TV moment, but what y'all doing? Girl, don't get me started. I'm sick of these people.
Oh, teacher.
What? You in the front.
You in the front. So I would say two things. One thing is the Pam Bondi moment. Let's just stay with her for just a moment. Ted Lieu might have gotten Pam Bondi to perjure herself.
Okay, but what are they going to do about it?
Hold on. Some of the things will not.
Some of the
things. Jackie about to hurt somebody. Some of these things will not.
I need a drink.
You need alcohol. Some of these things will not come to fruition right now, but I do believe that he caught Pam Bondi in a straight up lie. And I think Joe Neguse did too. And when you catch her doing that, you mark that down for future prosecution. I do believe that we will win in the end. And some people are going to lose their law licenses, including her. She better not get too used to practicing law, because I think she actually might get disbarred or actually prosecuted down the road. She did straight up perjure herself. Ted Lieu caught her straight up lying with a G. And Joe Neguse caught her literally having hired a January 6th insurrectionist who said, let's kill him about cops, then hired him at the DOJ. All these things get noted down. Some things you got to do for the future. So I think they made some important points in that hearing. Same thing with the directors of ICE, CPB, and USCIS who testified in front of Homeland Security. Mark that down. If they perjured themselves, you can hold that against them later. So I think you got to establish.
Why they got to wait? Why they got to wait? Why do they have to wait?
We don't have a Justice Department right now. There's no one to prosecute them. There is no FBI. There is no Justice Department. It doesn't exist. The Justice Department is run by her. So you have to wait till we have a real Justice Department again. So in the future,
that could never happen.
It might not.
To me, have the press conference. Call
Right.
her a liar. Say,
But
here's where we caught her in the
that don't
lie.
do anything. But calling somebody a liar doesn't do anything. You have to get her in her perjury, mark it down for when we have a Justice Department again, then you can prosecute them. That's number one. Number two, what they have been doing, and what I don't think they get enough credit for on the National Democratic side. Now, look, I am beyond almost not a Democrat anymore. They make me so sick. But I will say this. The one thing that the Democrats did do, I think, pretty effectively, they had to get on the ground. It's not sexy, but they had to counter that attempt by Trump to rig the elections by gerrymandering these states. California basically negated what Texas did. California's going to pull 5 Republicans, and if they get anything, they'll probably, if they get 2 of those seats instead of 5, and they may not get those 2 because they don't piss Hispanics off so much. So they negate, and what they've been doing, and the strategy we haven't seen above ground, but that's been above ground, is they're going state to state. If you do Indiana, we do Illinois. Indiana back down. But hold on.
But let me say this.
Because we can't get back the House. If they were successful in following Trump's order to gerrymander all the red states to where there's no more blue, that we would have lost a black seat in Indiana. They backed down. Then you got Maryland. We're still waiting for this fool in Maryland, that's the Senate Democratic president, to let that gerrymander go through to counter North Carolina. They're playing a game behind the scenes of back to back, right? So we've basically negated effectively their gerrymander. That strategy won. In court, these state Democrats have basically negated Trump's ability to deploy the U.S. military on election day. That is very important, because if he was able to deploy the Army, the National Guard into our streets during an election, that would be bad. So now he has one more, which is Insurrection Act. Black folks have been smart about not getting out there and doing pretty too much so where we can do Insurrection Act. So that is how we're going to protect the vote. That's the thing they got to do to make sure we can vote at all, to get rid of these Republicans in the House and Senate. Yes, you in the front.
So, okay, what's going to stop him from deploying the military anyway? Because all he does is defy, judicial rules that are put in place. He just does what he wants to do. Okay, what's going to stop him from? Because he has who he wants in charge of the Department of War and all these things. He's got Bondi with him. What's going to stop him from deploying the military?
Nothing. I mean, but if he does it, so this is how we're and I'm one who will tell you the Constitution was built wrong, because the thing I think the Supreme Court fears the most is that they do a ruling and then he just defies them, and then we're really in a brand new territory. If he starts defying the Supreme Court, we don't know where that goes. So he could still try to do it. They are absolutely going to try to do it. But at least we know that the states will fight it. They will take that shit all the way to the Supreme Court.
How are they going to fight it?
They'll sue. They'll do what they did before. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. But so the reality is,
did you see him arrest Don Lemon?
I did.
No, I did. I know what they wanted him to do.
I know, but so the alternative is to say there's nothing we can do. Like either there's something we can do or there's nothing we can do. It's two choices.
No. I mean, I hear you. What I'm saying is there needs to be more.
Right on our side, we have to do what you can do. So you're saying, well, what are Democrats doing? Well, let's first ask, what can they do? They can do 2 things. You can try to pass a law, which you can't because Republicans control it. So that's off the table. They can sue. And so the states and the only thing we have left that is semi-functioning in this country right now is the courts. It's the last thing we got left. So what they've done, what Democrats are doing, is on these 2 levels, fighting that gerrymander, which they've done pretty successfully, because Virginia about to wipe all these Republicans out. And they've made it very clear to Republicans, you keep touching North Carolina, we're about to wipe all y'all out. We're going to and then that puts a lot of pressure on the Republicans in the House. They're like, oh crap, all our guys are going to be unemployed in blue states. So that threat has actually been very effective.
Well, why threaten it? Why not just?
Well, no, they're doing it. They've already done it. Girl, they've already done it.
California was like, if Texas does this, we're going to do that, right? My thing is, just do it. Be bold. Be radical.
But they already are doing it.
I know, but they weren't going to do. They only did it in reaction to what was going on in other places.
Right? No. But that was the tactic. The strategy was to dissuade Republicans from trying to gerrymander anywhere else. So what the threat on the table was, if you do it here, we do it here, and we negate you. You do it here, we do it here. That tactic, as much as it may be not emotionally satisfying for us, it worked. because they have essentially blunted what Republicans were going to do, which was just mass gerrymander. They are backing down from it because they're afraid that the tit for tat is what they fear. So
why don't blue states withhold their money from the federal government?
I've asked this question too. I have put this question on the table. So here's the challenge with that. If blue, let's pick a state that's blue. California. So California is probably a bad example because California is basically a city state. It's like a country, right? You got to pick a state that's not a country. Pick Wisconsin. Let's say Wisconsin said, we're not sending any more money to the federal government. What the federal government could do is say, okay, we now will cut off all the federal money that comes back to you for anything. And that could be unsustainable for some blue states that are not California, which is basically its own economy.
Let California just do it. Let California do it then. Why can't just California do it? They can afford it.
Because that wouldn't be enough to stop the Trump administration. What would that do? It would be helpful to California. What would that do for you in Georgia? Nothing. Nothing. It wouldn't affect you at all.
But to me, there has to be bold action.
But it would be action for
radical action by the Democrats.
If California were to do that, California could sustain itself without the rest of the United States.
Right.
That would do nothing for anyone else in the entire country. Okay. It would literally have no effect.
And it wouldn't hurt the federal government not to have that money.
It would not. It would and it wouldn't. Because the reality is, hold on, it wouldn't. Because remember what's in California, about like 3 giant military bases, which would also immediately be cut off. There's a tit for tat. And so the reality is, if you say we're not sending money, the military bases in your state immediately become defunded. Food stamps in your state, immediately, you now have to pay for that. And right now, the federal government supplements those food stamps. So if you want to play that game, Wisconsin, suddenly no one in your state gets food stamps. No one in your state gets Medicaid. Because the federal government can also play this and go back the other way. So if you say we're not sending the money, suddenly all your elderly and poor get no federal money, and you need to find the money in your tax base to pay for all of that in addition to the stuff you're already doing. So you can hurt yourself trying to hurt them. So I think we have to be strategic. What I want to see Democrats do is get all these governors. Now 2 of them got disinvited. Wes Moore and the gay governor of Colorado got disinvited from the National Governors Association. It took them like 4 days for them to all say none of the rest of us are going. That's 4 days too long. The Democratic Governors Association should be meeting right now and saying, what can we do to coordinate? It can't just be California cuts the money off. We need a 22 straight.
This is what I'm saying. They need a plan. They need to come up with something better than what they're doing. To me, the Democrats should have a war room. They should be on TV every day or online every day with their sleeves rolled up, jackets off, ties off, talking about we caught Pam Bondi in a lie. We did this. Because what the Republicans do, right, is they control the narrative. They win the communications game, which is why they are winning. So it can't just be, we're doing this behind the scenes. They also, because this is the way this country works, you have to win the communications game, and they're not.
You also have to win the game, and they're not. And I'm
not winning that either.
Republicans, no, I disagree that Republicans are winning so big. If Republicans were winning, we would have the United States military right now deployed in Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. They would be in Chicago right now. They're not. So they're not winning. And so the reality is, I think we give Republicans too much credit. Republicans hang together. They stick together. Pam Bondi did herself no good on the Hill the other day. Democrats did themselves some good. They exposed some things we can deal with later. And they are talking. They don't always get covered, but they are speaking. To me, we need to stop making these Republicans into some sort of magical superheroes. They're not winning because in the court, they're being
things that they're doing.
Gerrymandering. They lost on gerrymandering. That's done. They lost on military in the streets. That's 2. The third one is Insurrection Act. He ain't done it yet. And Black folks are denying them our presence in the streets, so they can't do that. Now, where are we winning on our side? Target, for the first time, has fallen out of the top 100 corporations in terms of its profitability. We have nuked Target's profitability. We're about to do the same thing.
That wasn't the Dems.
No. I'm not saying
that was activists.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That we need to say Republicans are not winning because we, the people, we have momentum. If you look at all the polls on their best issue, immigration, Trump is way underwater. Even his own right-wing pollsters have him underwater. That's why Gallup is no longer reporting presidential popularity, because he's at 37% in Gallup, which leans to the right. So we've nuked their popularity. We've nuked support for ICE. We've nuked support for Department of Homeland Security. Now all it takes is for us to have the courage to vote with the ICE people at the polls. So I think that we have to be more realistic about what they're winning. They're losing in court, left, right, and center. That Don Lemon prosecution won't stand. It's a straight up easy prosecution. They tried to indict Lisa Cook, failed. They tried to indict those 7 senators and Congress members who are military veterans who did that PSA that you shouldn't follow legal orders.
James failed.
Failed. So a lot of the stuff they're doing is theatrical, but it's not winning. They're not actually getting to indict the people they want. Don Lemon ain't going to prison. That is not happening. They can't win that. They can't win that against Georgia 4. So I think we need to not confuse theatrics with victory. So what we need to do is just keep our heads down. We can't count on these damn Democrats to do everything. I need them to do one thing. Like you said, have a plan in place when you win the House, because you probably will win the House. But I need y'all to know, what are you going to do I'm more concerned about when you get your Bible, what you going to do with it.
This is what I'm talking about. Cory Booker has a new book out. Now he's going on a book tour trying to get people to buy a book. When do you have time to write a book? I think Jeffries is talking about the next time Trump calls them together, they're going to sit there quietly. Why don't you just not go?
Yes,
let's be radical. I can do that. I just can't. Somebody said, calm down, Jackie.
Look, Jackie don't like the Democrats.
Calm down.
She don't like the Democrats.
I'm not calming down.
And I think on public messaging, I just disagree, Wanda. I disagree that we're losing our public messaging. If we're losing our public messaging, then why are they underwater? If we're losing our public messaging, then explain to me why even in right-wing polls, Trump is underwater and underwater on immigration. If we're losing public messaging, why are we winning? Why are all the polls showing that we are ahead? It's the strategy behind the public.
They're losing when it comes to what we saw in Minneapolis, right? And that video, Democrats had nothing to do with that, right? They had nothing to do with that. That was the media and people on phones. That was people and activists.
Side is winning. And look, to me, a win is not the Democratic Party. The win is we need to stop fascism. I'm barely a Democrat at this point. I don't care what the party is called. I want fascists to lose. And the fascists are the Republicans, and they are losing.
But I voted for these people. Right? They got my vote, and I need them to do something. Some of them are
winning. Mamdani has
put down the law for them to work for us. They need to work. Like, it's activism, I think, that's really making the difference. Like you talked about Target. I think that's what's really making the difference. It's the activism. But these Democratic leaders need to get it together. I'm not taking my foot off their necks.
I
hear what you're saying, though.
They won the gerrymandering fight. The end. There's no one who's going to argue me down that they didn't win the gerrymandering fight. They just did.
I'm not saying that they didn't. But it needs to be more. They need to be burning the candle at both ends. They need to be doing around the clock stuff. It needs to be more. The government shut down at the end of 2025 when healthcare was on the line. They should not have voted to end the government shutdown. It's stuff like that I'm talking about. When it matters, they fold again and again and again.
Well, I would suggest that all of you who feel that way in the chat, what you need to do then is, look, you done fired up the chat people. When you get an opportunity and the primaries come up and you got a soft-spined Democrat in your district, that's your congressman or that's your senator, how about don't vote for them? Vote for somebody that's more of a Zohran Mamdani. You could replace all of them. That's up to you. And you need to do that. You need to do that in the primary so that you're not stuck with that person in the general. So what I would say is, you also
need to ride the necks of the people that are in office because they're getting paid by our money right now and criticize them.
Right too.
I'm not afraid to say y'all need to do better. I'm all up in their comments saying y'all need to do better.
I think
Chuck Schumer needs to retire.
Yeah, you should. I agree with that. I do. I do. I mean, give me Elizabeth Warren as Senate Majority Leader. I would be a happy camper.
Girl. Well, on that note, let us please say, people tell me to calm down. I will not.
Calm down, y'all. You can try.
No, I'm just about they need to do better. And they need to get out of the pockets of Israel. I have an issue with that.
They got to cut that off. Did you see on Amelia one? Did you see that in Mikey Sherrill's old seat in New Jersey?
Yes.
then Lilia won because the guy who she beat, he was taking all that APAC money, but he said one thing APAC didn't like. They spent money against them and ended up putting her in. So I'm like,
yeah. So I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm looking at the total politician. Of course, at the end of the day, I want, like I want who can win to win if it's anti-MAGA, but I think we need to hold their feet to the fire more. We can't just go along to get along and no, they need to do more, much more. But with that, let's say, we just want to remind you, because we didn't off the top of the show, to please like and subscribe, comment, tell a friend. If you missed any part of this live, we are going to post it on our YouTube channel so you can see it in its entirety. So do not worry. You'll be able to, if you came in late, you can catch it from the beginning. So we'll do that maybe tomorrow in a couple of days. We'll see what happens. But
it's our work schedule. We got shit to do.
Listen, we got shit to do. But we're happy that you guys are here. Definitely get the book. We started our book club, If I Rule the World. We'll put the link once we post it. We'll put the link in there. But if you go to our last couple of episodes, you'll be able to see the link to get the book. And also go to our Substack, where you'll find our show notes and links to everything that we say, anything that we mention, what we're drinking, what we're watching, all the things. Go subscribe to Read This, Read That on Substack, and you'll get all of our show notes, including a link to where you can buy this book. Read it. February 26th. That's when we're having our book club live. We're going to have Amy back. And we're going to talk about all the things in the book. Yes, there will be
spoilers.
So if you did not, it's a book club meeting.
Yes.
So if you didn't read the book, it's just like if you show up to book. Who shows up to a book club and you didn't read the book? This is that. There are no cliff notes here. You got to read the book. We love you too, Lynette English, 7178.
Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. And make sure that you're also supporting this lady, which I'm always pointing the wrong way. I don't know. It's backwards on my thing.
It is on mine too. I know.
Jackie Reid, and she has a few little options of where you can support her. You can get Jackie's wellness guide, weekly wellness guide. She will give you weekly wellness tips to make sure that you are happy, healthy, mentally strong, and ready to fight these Democrats with both fists balled up and ready to punch, plow. You also need to support vegansexycool.com, because that makes you vegan and sexy and cool all at the same time. That person who asked, are you vegan? I actually thought you were asking me, because like everybody knows that Jackie Reid is not just vegan, she's a vegan supremacist, okay? So if you want to also be a vegan supremacist and get out there and stop all these meat eaters from messing up your day and figure out what to eat, how to eat, what to wear. You can wear some vegan clothes. You see, she's so fashionable. It's all vegan, and she can do it. Vegan makeup. She got it all for you at vegansexycool.com. And there's also the Jackie Reid experience, because you want to have a Jackie Reid experience. Can't get enough Jackie Reid on Read This, Read That. Go to the Jackie Reid experience, and that is where you're going to get all the amazing stories behind the scenes of the world, the fabulous, wonderful world of Jackie Reid. Ta-da!
So well said. I love that. Well, I will say my weekly wellness guide, please go to Substack and subscribe to that this week, because it's really made for Black women. And this week, every week, we do something to remind you, a little task to move you closer to your best wellness self. And this week, it was really finding about those extra tests and screenings that a lot of people be gatekeeping, that we really don't know about, but as Black women, we need to ask about. Last week, it was just get your screenings, right? Regular tests and screenings, mammogram, all those pap smear, get all that stuff, right? But this week it was about what beyond that you should be asking for, because we know what happens in the medical community, and a lot of times we don't know what we need to know. So that's what that is about. And if you sign up every week, I have a new newsletter that tells you about a little task that you need to do so we can be closer to wellness.
Love it.
All right. Now, I will say this woman is so smart, because she has all her shit in one place. Just go to joyannreid.com. That's it. That's it. And it will direct you to all the things that Joyanne is doing. She has an amazing Substack. She's doing a lot of new things there. So you definitely want to subscribe to that. And then you also want to go to the Joy Reid Show on YouTube, because she is there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night starting at 6:00. And I noticed a lot of lemon heads are leaning into your show, because you right after Dawn finishes, which I love. It's like a network. You can go to from one show to the next. I love it so much. I love that you guys are back to back in that way on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm waiting for you to tell me that you're going to be doing it 5 days a week. I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. When this election season gets cooking, we're gonna have to be 5 days a week.
You're gonna have to.
Too much going on.
Yeah.
We can't leave nothing on the table because I'm telling y'all. And look, we're not gonna walk in there with no weak Democrats. I'm with Jackie 100% on this. We're gonna walk in there with some real fighters because otherwise we can't win. We can't beat these demons with weakness. So we agree on that. We're gonna have to get some strong-minded D's in there. Or strong-minded independents. Because like I said, I'm not married to no Democratic Party. It could be working families. It could be independent, whatever. Just people who are going to fight demons. We need some demon hunters in there. We need some, it has to be like sinners. We need people who stop vampires. People with and they can't just be with some garlic you throw at them because they like the sinners.
Holy water.
Holy water don't work. Remember in Sinners, it didn't work. They threw holy water. They were like, bring me more, baby. That's just like giving me a shower. They just kept on doing it. It's like, oh, you got some serious demons. Scary.
You have no sense. Y'all, follow this woman. Subscribe.
Tractor is parked outside my door. And I love to ride it.
We are leaving. Goodbye.
So good, no more.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.